YouTube. It's been a while. Usually I do reviews like on knives and just I kind of do reviews on just about everything, really. So lately I've been getting into doing like musical instruments, stuff like that. Musicians run in my family. Everybody in my family plays an instrument of some sort, mostly string instruments. My dad played guitar. My brother plays bass, picks around on the guitar. I started out playing drums. Now I play bass in my church and pick around the guitar. So I thought, well, there's a lot of reviews out there. Maybe I'd give my perspective if anybody seems to care. I don't think anybody does, but we'll find out. For the record, I'm not a professional. What do I do with my pick? I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be. I don't claim to know everything. You can leave stuff in the comments. I'm not going to judge you. If I'm wrong about anything, you correct me. It will help. So we're going to start off with just, I kind of will and deal and trade around guitars, and as I get them, I'll put them on the channel, kind of show you and give you my perspective of it. So first things up, I'm going to get this in tune, and I'll tell you what it is. And I'll tell you about it. Good, wasn't too far off. All right, what this is a Epiphone acoustic, 6-string acoustic. This is not a high-end model by any means. I believe these came in like bundle packs. Inflation has kind of bumped things that were low up high, making you think they're worth more, but the quality is still the same as it was when prices was down here. It's just prices of stuff going up. This is an older model, so this would have cost you down here. But now to go buy this model, it's going to be up here. Just like anything else, it's worth more now than what it was when it came out. I picked this up on a trade deal. Not that it's in fantastic shape at all. Just I have another acoustic that is in really nice condition, and I like it. I really do. It's a Fender, and I'll show you that later on in another video. But this one's got a smaller neck, so it's easier for playing and stuff. I have big fingers anyways, so you get a fat neck and big fingers, it's hard to get around it. I need a smaller neck where I can get my big fingers around it. It chords fairly easy. It's a beater. It's got its little scratches and dings and stuff. It's a player's guitar, they call them. They call them player's guitars. It's not something that you're going to keep in the case all the time. It's something you take out and you play. Everybody's into that relic and war look and stuff. Well, this is starting to get its own issues. Nothing's stopping the effectability or playability of it. So I believe it's part of their DR series. I believe the model is a DR 100 NA. I believe you can pick these up for about, right now, I think you'd probably get them about 200 new. I believe they were like 159, 160 new years ago. And it's made in China. Believe it. Yep, it is made in China. I figured it was. Most stuff like this is. You get a spruce top, one-piece spruce top. There's no seam there. I want to say it's mahogany sides. It's got the grain characteristics. You know what? Probably spruce. probably spruce sides. Let's see, spruce. I don't have the specs exactly, but you do have a mahogany neck. Probably like a, not a real rosewood, kind of like a fake Indian rosewood alternative for the fretboard and for the bridge itself. Back you have a two-piece, right there's your seam, you have a two-piece, and that appears to be mahogany. It's got the green looks to it. I'm not sure what else kind of green characteristics to pull from a mahogany that can match. It's probably in the mahogany family. You got a black binding on the back all the way around, and on the front all the way around. Most acoustics, they try to do a little fancy binding. Nothing fancy. It's not an ivory. It's not bone. Probably just plastic that they glued around there. Your ring in here, most of your higher end ones, they'll actually glue something in here. This is most likely, I can't run my finger over them until I get to the middle. So the middle one could actually be pressed in there, but the rest of them are most likely a sticker and then they clear it over top of it. Just saying, it's a possibility. So, oh well. So you're not getting any very high-end stuff. The tuners are machine gear tuners. They're not sealed tuners. So these actually stay in tune fairly decent for what it is. So I still have the original inspection stickers on the back. Most people put them on, leave them on there. Most people take them off. I just, leave them on there until I feel like taking it off. This one doesn't set in a case because I don't have a case for it, so it tends to set out, and when I just want to pick around the guitar, I grab it. So yeah, it's got its blims and stuff. Note the action on these, they're different. They're all over the place. This one's a little higher than what I prefer. There is a way to fix that if you don't know how to do it yourself, or if you want to do it yourself, you can, but if you mess it up, it's your own fault. The bridge itself, you would have to take the strings out, take the bridge, this part, the white part in the back, you have to take that off, and you'd have to sand the bottom a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. The best way to do it is to find out how far it's up, how far you want your strings to go down, how far that you think they need to go down. So you'd run a gauge filler, push it down a little bit where you'd want them, measure that, let it go, find out what the difference is, come back here, find out how high it is. It's all scientific and math, and then you'd have to do a little bit at a time just to get you somewhere close to the ballpark. So these were all over the place. How we fix it? Me personally, I would take it to a Luther and have him do it. Because if you mess it up, then you got to buy a whole new nut. So let's just play some basic chords and let you know how it sounds. It's very easy to play, considering that the action is higher down here. It is not extremely high up here, but it could go down a little bit. Let's just play. Let's play an old familiar tune. There's really no way of adjusting the intonation on these whatsoever, so they kind of are what they are with any other acoustic. You can't move back and forth, so they have to have had this positioned just right for this to be naturally intonated. So it's nice to be able to go to a guitar store and pick them up and play them versus buying it out of a box or ordering it online. You get through Sweetwater online and it's imperfect, you can send it back, but most of the times they're fine because anything new in Sweetwater, they check for issues like that to make sure it's okay. Within a guideline, they have a like their quality control that they do. It's like another step before it gets sent out. They have guidelines that things have to fall in between. So it's not gonna be the highest quality because they carry all types of varieties of instruments. And some instruments aren't coming at the best quality from the facility anyways, because they're shooting these things out by the dozens by little Chinamen. Not to be offensive, but that's where it's coming out of. It's made, it says made in China right on the back of the neck. You don't have the standards and the quality over there for everything like you do over in the United States, where we take pride in what we make. We take pride in what we used to make. We used to take pride in everything. Some of the stuff is kind of skimped down. That's a generational problem. Blame that on them trying to change the way things are. Enough for me ranting. This is okay to learn on country chords where you're living up in here. Let's say if they're trying to learn bar chords. If anybody's trying to learn bar chords, it's a little bit harder because you got a wider neck, so you got to get up on there. I would say. Can be done. I got bigger hands. You got long, skinny hands, probably no problem, but most beginners are going to struggle with that and they're going to give up. So what about power chords? Let's see, can you do power chords on here? Let's see if we can get a power chord. Power chord, you can power chord it. It's easy to power chord. It's easy to do your country chords. Any scale runs, any on here? You got to press down extra hard when you're down here because the action's high, but maybe blues be fine. So just take in consideration when you're buying something like this, even if you're buying it online. Most of this back here is going to be straightforward. They're not going to spend the time, because it's an inexpensive guitar, to adjust and run this along standard to get it perfect, because it is time consuming. They need to get these out quickly. So it's not a high-end one. Gibson, they would take the time. So just keep in mind, anything down here is going to be harder to play. You're going to need to be more advanced. Kind of force yourself. If you're a beginner, you're going to be learning stuff up in here anyways. So it could go for either way, but I would rate this as a mediocre. Someone needs to already have prior experience messing with guitars before looking and considering to buying this, is probably not the best thing for a beginner because the action is high. It does have wider neck, but it is thinner. It's almost like a flatter C shape, maybe a little flatter though. Modern C, maybe you call it a modern C, but you're wider. So if you got small hands, you're gonna have a hard problem getting up in there. A lot of new players prefer to, they're either learning tab or they want to play bar chords. This is not a bar chord guitar unless you got long fingers. Power chords, you can power chord it. Power chords are only gonna get you by for certain songs. You can't power chord every song. Your cowboy chords that are all up here at the beginning of the neck, you'll be able to do those. Scale runs, if they're bluesy scale runs, you'll be able to get them up in here. Your pentatonics and stuff down in here, it's going to be a little bit harder because your action's high. So overall, would I buy it? I mean, I did, but the price was right. Again, if you're advanced, you're not going to be looking for this unless you're trying to save some money. If you already have experience and can chord it, play it out, see how it feels, see what suits you. This is the Epiphone DR 100 NA. It's used, so it's not new, it's not an unboxing. It's just my perspective, my point of view. Overall, it seems to be fairly nice. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. Your own opinions.